Hello everyone. This video is designed to provide the basics of heat exchange or heat transfer process. Now, as you know, heat exchangers are equipment that aid the transfer of heat from one fluid into the other. So in this video, I'll demonstrate the basic principles behind the operation of heat exchangers. So let's say I want to make a cup of tea. So I have my kettle. I'll just turn that on in order to boil the water. It's going to take a few moments for it to get boiled. Right, so my water just boiled. So what I want is to make a cup of tea. Just pour that in. And so what I have remaining here is some amount of water, which is still very hot. Now, under normal circumstance, what I'll do is I'll just leave that off, and that amount of heat that I have remaining in that kettle will just cool off over a certain period of time. But what if I have some content? Say, for example, this is some oil inside a different container. And what I want to do is to heat that up. I want to warm it up to a higher temperature. At the moment now it's at room temperature. So if I want to warm it up, I can pour it into a different container, and then I can put it into the microwave, or I can put it on top of a heating element in order to warm it to the desired temperature. But in this case, given that I have already some amount of heat, and this amount of heat would just go to waste, because obviously if I leave this kettle for a few hours, what would happen is that would just cool off. I could utilize that amount of heat in order to warm the content in my water bottle here. So what I could do in this case, this is safe for me to do so, please don't try this at home. I could just put that in and leave it inside for a bit. In this case, note you have to be very cautious of the pressure, because if the temperature, usually there's a direct relationship between temperature and pressure, so you'll have to make sure that there isn't any pressure build up in the container. So I can just leave this on for a bit. Well, it won't shut up because it's too high. And what's happening now is that the heat is being transferred from the hot water in through the material of the water bottle to warm up the content of the fluid. And as I said, this is the basic principles behind heat exchangers. Now in this case it's a batch process, because we're leaving this sit for a bit. It's a batch, we're not having any continuous flow. In a case where we have a continuous flow of the fluid, both the hot fluid as well as the cold fluid inside, that would be a concentric or a tube-in-tube heat exchanger. Okay, so that's mimicking a tube, the inner tube or the water bottle, and then you have the outer tube, which is the kettle. So as I said, now if I'm to measure the temperature of this content, we'll find out is the temperature now. I can feel it is much warmer now. It's much warmer than when I've put it in when it was at room temperature. So this is the basic principle behind the operation of our heat exchangers. Ideally, what you'll have is a continuous flow of the hot fluid as well as a continuous flow of the cold fluid. If the flow is co-current, that means both the hot fluid as well as the cold fluid will be moving in the same direction. If it's a counter current, then it's the opposite direction. The cold fluid is coming in from one end, and then the hot fluid is coming in from the other end, and then they're living at different ends. Thank you very much.